most of our applications are directly used by most of the developers around the world, and most of the startups right now in the United States. So basically, first of all, who I am, my name is Rhommel. I work with large servers since about 6 years. I started on Astra Telecom in a large 550 servers physical environment. Then I moved to AWS 3 years ago, where I started with Wacky.tv and then moved to Treskel to help them scale their cloud architecture to allow us to manage all the traffic from all the applications. I worked with CF Engine 2 for 2 years at Astra Telecom, and then I discovered Puppet, and now I want to Puppetize everything. I'm obsessed about config management, and I use Emacs. What Treskel does, basically, we provide all the tools that developers need to scale their APIs. We provide them with traffic reports, traffic report, API administration, and traffic management, authorization keys, and everything, so they can scale their APIs. We help them to make that process from going private APIs to public APIs a little bit easier. So what does scaling stand for? Scaling, if you see the Wikipedia, you can see that it's the ability of a system and network of processes to adapt to the different capacities and accommodate their resources to the growth. If you say this to an operations engineer, he will tell you that it only applies to servers and systems, but at the end, it also matters to the developers. It also matters how we develop Puppet models, how we develop config management, and how we do our work. We have to find a way that developing models to our Puppet environment can be easy and can be scalable. So we have to ask basically 3 questions, which are, how many people do we need to scale our architecture? In the case of Treskel, everybody has this role. Everybody in the development team and the operations team have the role of scaling the architecture. They have to know how everything is built, how everything works, and if something fails, everybody should be able to solve it. We also want to know how many environments and systems we can maintain, our team. At the operations department or the operations team, we are 2 people right now. So basically, we are in charge of developing Puppet models and developing config management, so we can make it easy for other parts of the company to modify the production environments, like using Hiera, using Puppetdb, and other tools, without being scared at night when somebody does it. And this comes to the third question. Can we delegate configurations to other parts of the teams? I don't want a developer modifying a Puppet model at night or something. I'm being scared that he's modifying some manifest or some class or some resource. So the easy way to do that is using Hiera and Puppetdb, so they can change parameters over there and easily apply to production without changing the logic behind our architecture. So for this, we're using Puppet dynamic environments. They were introduced a couple of years ago. And the purpose of environments is that you can test all the configurations before it goes to production. At the moment, we have around 4 environments. And everybody who wants to test a new feature can create a new environment easily. And the cool thing about this is that they can even test and experiment on their own without harming the other environments. The base environment at Treskel are production and preview, which are production, obviously production, and preview functions as a QA. If something is failing for some reason in production, we can deploy a preview stage, a preview environment, and see what is happening. Or if we want to test something before it goes to production, we use preview, and then we pass it to production. In order to do this, we decided that the best way to develop our environments was this way. So we can use our own workflow for this. If you see on the internet, most of the sites will recommend you that you use branching releases for all the environments. So you can have like a branch for production, branch for preview, branch for each one of your environments. But we discovered that this way is really easy to get branches outdated, and it's really hard to make all the models on the master branch reliable. So we figured out this way so we can have only one master branch and keep the workflow that we have in the whole company for all applications, which is the feature branch. In order to do this, this is the basic configuration that you will see on the internet, where you change only the environments where is located the configurations. But we did a little tweak where we changed the manifest, so we can launch a different manifest for different environments. We can have production.pp, staging, preview, whatever, and we have all the code in the same branch. And what we do is in the production.pp, we launch any one of the manifests that we're going to use. We're also using environments on Hiera, so we can have environments and configuration specifics for each one of them. If we have an application that needs some special configuration, we can have it on each one of the stages. And everybody can modify that, previous code review and pull requests and everything, but they can even test it before doing that on their own feature branches. For example, if somebody wants to launch more listeners and more workers, then you have to modify the Hiera file. As Thomas said, with the Hiera files on each one of the models, this will be a little bit easier. So this is one of the things that we're going to try to implement in the future. When we talk about dynamic environments, we want to talk also about the Git flow that our team is going to follow. Inside our workflow, we check for code review. We do Puppet link, RSpecs, and all the testing, all the proper testing, so we can ensure that our environments work perfectly from the beginning to the end. We don't want to see changes over the time that were not approved by the whole team. So we have some core modules that shouldn't be modified unless it gets approved by the operations team, and other modules that can be modified by anyone else in the company. When we say about core modules, we say that those are the modules that are equal to each one of the systems. If there are some custom modules for each one of the applications, the owners of those applications can modify it easily. This is a little bit how a repo looks like. So basically, if you see all of the data is in one branch, and if you clone that branch at some point, you will be able to deploy a new environment with a different configuration, which is kind of easy. This is exactly one of our workflows. For example, when you take the master branch, you create a feature branch, and then you merge it with a proper code review. This is basically what we use in all of our applications, and we want to extend that also to Puppet, because we want to treat Puppet as another application inside our core. At Treskel, I arrived to Treskel in July, so one of my first tasks was moving Puppet from Puppet 2.7 to Puppet 3. We are now on Puppet 3.3.2. And we are running basically two Puppet masters with Nginx and Unicorn. I've passed in the past 2 years from Passenger, Mongrel, and Webrick, and I think that Unicorn is really reliable now. Our applications run on Ruby, so on Ruby and Unicorn, so we want to extend that also to Puppet, so we can have a homogeneous architecture. We are using a supply limit of half of the room interval and a 15 minutes supply. And we use the feature from Puppet3, which uses the DNS as SRV, which is kind of experimental, but for us, it's been working really well, and it helps us to have multiple masters, which is kind of useful and really easy to scale. We are using Foreman as our ENC. Basically, this is one of the reasons that we are using Puppet Master and not as everybody else that are using masterless Puppet. We want to know the inventory of each one of the servers. We want to know all the information from all the servers, so we're using ENC. And we're going to implement Puppetdb in the next week and a half, because we're pretty busy doing all other stuff. We are heavy users of Hiera. We're using mCollective and RabbitMQ for orchestration, mainly because once your architecture gets really complex, or after you get more than 60 servers, it's really a pain to manage all the puppets. So mCollective makes it easy. And also, we're writing some of the plugins to manage all of our applications from mCollective, which is really handful. And this is more or less what we want to achieve in the next week we're gonna have with Puppetdb, and basically what we have with Puppet, mCollective, RabbitMQ, and Puppet Masters. We have 2 Puppet Master servers. We are getting another one in another region at Amazon. We're using the SRV records and only one external certificate agent. We're using RabbitMQ as a cluster between all the Puppet Masters. And we're running mCollective on all the servers, on all the infrastructure. What probably nobody tells you about Puppet is Puppet Lint is your friend. Some people, I can imagine some people that still don't know it. So please use it, because it will help your code to be more legible. And when somebody else look at your code, will be really helpful. Puppet Respect is also your friend. People are testing their models, so why not use it? Don't code remotely on the servers. I've seen a lot of people directly getting into the Puppet Masters and coding models on the servers. If you do this is going to be a really pain, because you won't have track of all the changes that you are doing. You cannot roll back. You cannot do a lot of things. Please use Git to manage your code. Read the Puppet documentation on every version release, because they got a lot of changes. Be careful at dependencies. And once you start puppetizing, you are becoming an addict, so be careful. Basically, that's it for me. Any question? Yeah.
You said you are using mCollective.
Yeah.
What's your experience so far?
It's really good. Yeah.
We are doing it with Conjobs at the moment.
Yeah.
And operations tells me that we shouldn't use mCollective. So can you put in a few arguments?
I've been using mCollective.
Sorry, please repeat the question.
Huh?
Please repeat the question.
Yeah, he's asking about if RabbitMQ is really reliable or not, basically, or if he shouldn't use it or not.
Perhaps I can explain it.
Yeah.
So our development department want to use mCollective,
Yeah.
and we in the infrastructure we have different DMZ zones, different infrastructure zones, etc. So how is mCollective securely deployed in such an environment, or how it is maintained that I don't have security issues? For example, mCollective going behind the firewall, and all servers. I have all servers on one string, and I can manage them. So we think it's somehow, I don't know. It's how do you manage with different Steam sets and collective?
Let's see. We had the same problem. First, when I was at Wacky.tv, we started using RabbitMQ because mcollective because we had around 150 servers, and when we wanted to push any change on Puppet, we wanted to do all of them at once, or maybe to one environment, or maybe to one host in specific. So we were using RVM to manage all the Ruby versions of our servers, and we were using mcollective with RabbitMQ to manage all the infrastructure, so we didn't have problem with the hem sets. RabbitMQ provides SSL support, so you can have secure communication. Maybe you can configure that. But at the moment, we are not caring really much about that kind of security because we are behind firewalls, and all of our network is behind the firewall at Amazon. So we are managing that between security groups. So we have a cluster of RabbitMQ between five zones in Virginia and California, and we are not having any security breach at the moment. Anyone else? No?
Any more questions? We have plenty of time, so feel free to ask questions. Yeah.
You mentioned doing code reviews.
Yeah.
Doing the code reviews using some tool or just the GitHub UI?
We are doing it in GitHub using pull requests, and all the team is involved in the code review of all the Puppet modules and all the Puppet code. So basically, the idea is that unless if it's a core module, everybody can push and merge all the pull requests to the master branch. If it's a core module, it only can be merged by the operations team. This way, we ensure that nothing breaks.
Anyone else? Questions?
No.
Okay, guess not then. Thank you for the presentation. Enjoy. We'll now have a break and then start after again with another presentation. Thank you.